I did not expect that to just. I'm gonna have to sit there and deal with that later on. So that's gonna be fun. So, good evening and salutations, my soap opera fans. Yeah, I like the opening tone. I hope it flies for YouTube because I was not that that did not go as intended. But let's sit there and give roll call. Let's get that started. Amy's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Ryan's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Krista's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Tommy Smith is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Blackmon is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Sean is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Allison is in the chat. How you doing tonight? We got a lot to talk about, people. It's been 2 days. I feel like it's been too long. So that was actually a good opening. I'm gonna lie, that just brought back so many goddamn memories. And Susan is in the chat. How you doing tonight? It's good to see you, Susan. You have been missed, so thank you for joining. I'm doing good, Allison. I was off today, so I'm very happy about that. She's okay so far, Ryan. She's okay. You know what? I got a surprise for you, Ryan. I got a surprise for you. Your Veta is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Veta, how you doing tonight? I'm doing good, Black Man. I'm doing good. I actually had off, so I was good. It's good. Yeah, Susan, it's good to see you as well. So I'm glad to see you tonight. Uh, but yes, I got a surprise for you. I think I show around 8:40, 8:42, give or take. So busy work week. Yeah, busy work week. I Metalhead was good. Yes, Tommy. Listen, I gotta sit there and say, what's good? I Metalhead. I gotta sit there and say, the Young and the Restless has. Listen, they've been holding their own. They have been holding their own with General Hospital. Surprisingly, they've been holding their own. I will give them. Hospital. Surprisingly, they've been holding their own. I will give. Okay, I don't know why I actually have these headphones in. It's good to see you, Ahmed Ahead. Absolutely good drama, Allison. Absolutely good drama. I know, Tommy. Listen, what's good, Eagle? Why is no one on the show making a big deal of Willow breaking court orders, repeating, and not even Michael is mentioning this to Willow? The show is always saying she ran into Michael. She is stalking Michael, and I'm tired of the show ignoring it. Yeah. And you brought up something else too, Eagle. You know, the whole petition thing. You know, we gotta get Drew out. Yeah, they didn't have that same energy with Luke. Just saying. Allison says, "Where do you work, Albert? Do you like it? I need a new job. I'm in the process of getting. Oh wow, I'm so sorry to hear that. Do I like my job? My job is easy. Um, I can pretty much kind of do my job in my sleep. It's low effort to some extent. Um, like as far as what I do, and I work at a supermarket. I'll sit there and say I work at a supermarket, and I'm a people person. So yeah, and again, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, Ryan. I don't think it's just necessary. I don't think it's necessary just one person though. If other people are signing it, Albert is a big time owner of a market. You can't yeah. Nah, but like I said, do I like my job? I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate it and I don't dread it. So, I mean, you're dealing with people, so it can either be a good experience or a bad experience, and that's pretty much how I do that. I will say one thing though, it's not always the customers that is the problem. I need to control my temper. I can't deal with constant screaming, yelling, out of control kids. Ooh, wow. Yeah, I get that. I do think that if the internet was around back in the 70s, there actually be maybe, maybe, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, Ryan. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But ah, to be fair, if Luke was still in the show, he would have been right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Tommy says Ashley is just like Liam. She's a waffle queen. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, obviously I listen. I get that. That's insane. And yelling and the screaming, that messes with your psyche. I get that. Put Jason with Anna after he saved her. Eagle says Nick and Sharon both handling the return of Clark so poorly. Have proof before first you beat him up. And yeah, yes, Eagle. It's interesting, Eagle. Seeing that scene today and then watching Jason. I'll get to that comment in a second. Right? And no one's not there telling you to, so I don't know where that energy came from. But um, it's funny you say that, Eagle. Right? You're like, especially with Sharon. Sharon walking in this guy's club and yelling and screaming at him, and then pretty much kind of manhandling him, right? And then you look at Britt and the way that Britt was coming at Jason. What's good, Spider? I'm gonna answer your question, and then I'm gonna say my usual thing. Albert like Eva or hate her. Eva put Kat in her place yesterday, like she flamed the F out of Kat. Like there ain't no coming back from that. Oh, I'm gonna get to Eva's ass in a hot second, because I have some issues with that scene, but the way that Britt came at Jason today was out of pocket. I said this in my review. There's a certain level of like low key sexism in soap operas where it's like expected for a woman to sit there and come at a man sideways like there's no tomorrow. And the man is just supposed to sit there and just shut up and take it. I'm like what with her? Don't want men to watch their shows is showing. I I feel like there's just a certain level of like, they always sit there and say that a soap opera is a woman's fantasy, right? And in all reality, the fact that Jason did not check Brit today after the way that she came at him, because first of all, I was like, yo, listen, he did you a favor. Brit, you could have been right or wrong about your diagnosis, but he got you out of there before you ruined your job, right? And you thank him by you thank him by saying that you hate this town, you hate the apartment, you hate the fact that Jason dragged you back. First of all, Jason didn't drag you anywhere. What are you talking about? Like, um, I gotta sit there and say Nina's plot was a little diabolical. It took a certain level of brains. I was surprised by her because usually I always call Nina a dingbat. It's ridiculous and unreal. I'm like, yo, Not only that, but Jason actually co-signed like her loan for an expensive ass car. And that's how you're sitting there treating him? Like, are you kidding me? This level of like, oh my god, super spunkiness is like, nah, you're not being spunky. You're just being annoying. You're being annoying. Okay, so I don't know if you're still in the chat or whatever, but like, and Tommy, maybe here's the thing. Eva could have been right in her assessment of coming at Kat after Kat was sitting there acting like a little brat. My issue was the fact that she walked up in her place, and when Kat was like, "Yo, what are you doing just walking in here?" She was like, "Well, you left the door open." I don't give a shit if I left the door open or not. Like, what are you talking about? You don't just walk up in somebody's place. And then for Chelsea to be like, "Oh, let those two just handle it," it was like, no. She just walked in your studio like she just could. And that's what you sit there and say? What's good, Danny R? That's what you sit there and say? Yo, listen. Kat was hell. Let me put this way. Kat was hella wrong for the way that she was sitting there acting at that hospital. Okay, so I'm not here to sit there and defend Kat's actions, but you don't just be walking up to somebody's place like that. Like, even though you don't lost your goddamn mind. The door is open. I don't give a shit if the door is open. Like, you don't what? I, I used to out there was like, yo, I don't know. I don't know what I'm watching, but like that, I welcome to somebody's place like that. But yes, what is Andre hide? What is Andre hiding? That's the thing. I met us says, yeah, Brit has been super annoying since she's came back. She's been like she's been the bridge or whatever, right? Let's talk about Laura for a hot minute, okay? Let's talk about Laura because she got this upcoming the okay, let's just be real. I, personally, Laura only got to be mayor because Spencer tampered with the election. Like he literally tampered with the election as far as like the votes and stuff. And that's how she got to be mayor. But like if I'm not too drunk, maybe I'll sit there and make a video. Because let me put it this way. I said this in my memo stream, and Sean, you was there for that. Laura should have been left the show a long time ago. Laura should have left the show. Sonny should have left the show. Jason should have left the show. Their peak was in the 90s. Their peak was in the. Do you just like Laura? Well, I don't hate Laura, but like she's been doing stupid shit hanging out with Sonny, who everyone knows is a goddamn mobster, but then being all like, oh my god, there's a possibility that I could sit there and lose the election because he has a lot of ammo. Yeah, the ammo that you gave him. Nobody told you to be sitting there hanging. Like you're literally in the center of the Metro course and that they're eating with the goddamn kingpin. Yeah. Hell, even Jordan was like, yo, let's not like you, but what you doing with Sonny, that's some out of pocket shit I can't co-sign. But no, Laura, Sonny should have left, Jason should have left, Anna should have left. Like, these people done went past their prime, way past their prime. And th- it definitely needed some different blood on the show. They definitely needed some new blood on the show. And I'm not just saying that because they're older people. You could have gotten a older person, an older character to come in. But like Sonny, that dude, I mean, he should have been gone a long time ago. I'm gonna be real, like, and granted, this isn't just even for General Hospital, but I'm using General Hospital because most people here watch General Hospital. I mean, No, they're past their prime. You know, they're past their prime. Soap operas ain't what they used to be. And honestly, tell you the truth, Ryan, that goes for all the shows. Victor should have been going. Jack should have been going. They need these soap operas need some young blood, some other newer talent on these shows. That's for all of them. Victor, like I said, Victor, Nikki, Jack, they were great when they were on. Was good at, and they had their prime. They were at their prime. Yeah, so I really feel like no, Sean. I'll try to watch it tonight, maybe. Days of Our Lives needs young people more than anything. Their fossils are way too old. Listen, exactly. Marlena had some great stuff back in her day. And that was back in her day. Like that was back in her day. But like these soap operas, you know what I'm saying? Like all of them. Caught up in YNR Wednesday to Friday and yesterday. What do you think of it so far, Ed? What are you thinking of YNR so far? Like I said, YNR's killing it. Was backstage. Oh, okay, well, you almost broke the computer. I don't know. I don't know if she's worse than they're just showing your personal property. Um, I don't think you should give her that much energy. But I like the LA story. Yeah, that's what they need. Well, okay. See, Ryan, and you missed this part. Hmm, I get you, Allison, but okay, Ryan, you missed this part. So okay, and I'm gonna sit there and say this in another speed. I'm not sitting there saying they can't have older people come onto the show and just be a new character. Okay. So I'm not sitting there saying they can't have somebody like Clint or anybody else to come on the show that's a little bit older. I'm saying that the people that have been on the show, um, past their prime. No one's sitting there saying you can't have a person in their 60s or 70 come on the show. Um, but the character has been around for far too goddamn long. So that's what I'm sitting there saying. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm sitting there saying. Yeah, that's fine, right? Um, just it's actually here's the thing. What's good, LaShawn? Couldn't be soon enough, LaShawn. Could not be soon enough. You know what actually helped me also make that decision? And I'm gonna show you a picture, and y'all can tell me. Actually helped me also make that. Concerts up in March. Hmm. Nice if it was damn January. Listen, don't get me wrong. I like Steve. I like Jason. I do. I like Sonny. I like the stuff more back then. So, tell me, hmm, who are these people? Chat? Sean, I know you know who they are because you were in the stream that night. So, anybody else know who these people are? There we go. Ed, you're a fucking genius. The Ford. Yep, Ford and Eddie. So, yeah, of course you do, Sean. There's a reason why I'm pulling up this while I'm pulling this up. So here's the thing about the Ford brothers. They came in, they were new, they were young, and they weren't great. Okay? It was Eddie that actually gave them like, you know, that gave them some purpose and stuff like that. Eddie, who was a dick of a father, Eddie was a dick of a father. The Fours weren't great characters. But what I liked about One Life to Live, what I liked about what they did was they tried. They tried with them. They tried to sit there and bring in some young blood, some fresh faces, new characters. Yeah. It I don't feel like it worked. Do you think the characters should have an expiration date for when they leave the show? I don't know. I don't know. But my point is that I like the fact that One Life to Live tried with them. You know, they weren't great, but they tried with them. You know, they want to introduce some new life into the show. Really? You need to kind of start kicking out some of the old ones. Um, and so I appreciated that. I did. Mm. Now we all remember this scene from today. Well, okay, that's not from today, but Ava nearly snuck there killing Rick. Ed said, "Don't forget the Four Brothers mom story with Clint and Bo." Yeah, I didn't really know much about that story. Um, but I gotta sit there and say Eddie was a person that definitely belonged 6 feet under after what I've seen. Eagle says, "Is it true that Gio is leaving GH?" Wow, that's news to me. That is straight up news to me. Ryan says, "Please don't share this opinion on social media. You will get eaten alive for saying that Victor and Sonny should." Oh, absolutely, Ryan. I don't think you know me too well because I will absolutely sit there and share that shit on social media. What's good, Amber? Sean said, "This is Danny Rocco finding the body in the water." Yep, that wasn't the one I was trying to show today, but well, this was. Ed says Clint used the mom to get Bo drunk and make Bo believe she slept with him to break up Bo and Nora. Yeah, and hired Eddie to kidnap Nora. But he didn't want to sit there and babysit Nora because he was too busy wanting to sit there and beat the hell out of his kids in a boxing match. Have you ever heard anything terrible about the rumors was going to happen? No, I didn't hear anything about that. Yeah, Ed, we was and again, shout out to Jonathan. We were watching some of the story of Eddie. Great actor. He seems like a really chill person. His character was an asshole. Sean said the actor is leaving. I heard. Wow. All right. One more picture. Anybody remember who that person is? Yeah, it's funny, Ed. I actually thought of the same thing. And it's funny. You said that before. Yep. Old. Oh, there you go. There you go, Ed. Ryan says rumor is that Danny is going to be killed off because he gets in the middle of Carly's revenge plot. Oh shit! Wow. General Hospital actually has some balls. Actually gonna kill a character off. Whoa. Hmm. Wow. That's gutsy. Hmm. Not exactly a fan of them killing off kids, but okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. Um, what's his name? Thomas. Thomas getting hit by a car. I did not care. I called that shit karma, and I stand by it. Sean says, "Well, that would be end of Carly and Jason's friendship." Oh yeah, absolutely. But yep, that is old school Erica Torpy. Spy Craig says, "Albert, if GH does that, I'll be happy because then Carly's spell on Jason will be broken, and that means we can get Britt and Jason." Yeah. Yeah, after all the somewhat verbal abuse that Britt has been sent there sending to Jason. Oh yeah, absolutely. Eagle says Erin was a cartoon voice actress and singer. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think I left the show when you had Bree Wilson on there. Um, Eagle, I mean, Ed says, Albert, so glad Chad left Jennifer have it, and I hope Chad goes for the mirror on her brother, on with his brother EJ. Yeah. Listen, Jennifer has been, and I'm gonna get back to Carly's ass in a hot minute. Jennifer as Miss Lawrence is that what? Jennifer has been acting like a Karen, right? And I wonder if Jonathan is gonna come in here, but I guess I'll just have to re-explain myself. Jennifer has been acting like a Karen, right? But here's the thing though, and I hate I generally dislike saying this, but like Jennifer is not coming at Chad with malice. I don't like how she's been coming at Kat. She has not been sitting there trying to understand that Kat didn't do what she did just for funsies. Okay. I don't think that Jennifer should be sitting there trying to police anybody's love life. Yep. Okay, I can take this off. Yep. That is correct, LaShawn. A little bit over a teenager, but yeah. Okay. Where else my picture at? She's wearing a tablecloth. Yeah, that was, and that's another thing. I felt like she was a very innocent version of what Bree, like when Bree came on there, she kind of played a little bit more of an, a little bit more out there, a little bit more rebel without a cause kind of, as opposed of what you call it, Ara Torby. Eagle says Jennifer was told by her friends she had to let this vendetta go with Kat. Now she's affecting Chad and his son's relationship. I can't stand Jen. I wish she would just go back to Boston. Yeah, take her ass back to Boston and take that brat with her facts. Spikehook says, what happened with Days today? It was a filler episode. It was honestly a filler episode. It was. Nothing actually happened, to be honest. They brung back some characters that was more facts, Allison, she was. They brung back some characters that like if you didn't watch them from the beginning, you wouldn't really care. Like you wouldn't really care. And that's the thing, Spider. Like they bring back Sammy. I personally, okay, I will sit there and say this, and I will stand by this. I personally think that Sammy Brady is a way stronger character than Carly Corinthos. Like just as far as popularity and just like who she is, I think that Sammy Brady is a way more stronger character than Carly Corinthos. I like Carly sometimes, but that's just facts. But to be honest, it, she was a character before I started watching the show. So whenever they have her come back on, it's like she doesn't do anything for me. You skipped all the scenes, but Sammy and AJ, Jen, and Chad. Yeah. Ed says, "I want to know Sammy's connection to Kat." Yeah, that was interesting. That was a bomb drop. That was a bomb drop. Yes, I'm very curious about that as well. Yeah, LaShawn, it is a little. I mean, optics wise, yeah. Laura making Dante the commissioner, who is Sonny's father. Yeah, that's optics wise. That don't look good. But okay, this is what I was not there saying. Jennifer is not coming at this with malice. Thomas definitely forgot where his place was in that family. You are the child, you're not the parent. But Chad's decision to hide the truth from Thomas to the point where he flipped out and he ran into the streets like a dumbass caused him to have such an outburst that he nearly got himself killed. So Jennifer is coming at this as a protective grandmother. As much as I don't like Jennifer, and I really do not like Jennifer, she is not wrong. She's not. She's not wrong. Dude had a whole outburst because his dad is not there dating somebody that he doesn't like, but he's a kid. I don't agree with that. I was like, bro, you need to sit there and stay in your place. But it is what it is. And I have to tell you too, Jennifer could sit there and win. So there's that. Don't get me wrong. I said, her coming at what you call it is still laughable because her coming at Gwen is still laughable because I'm like, girl, you sat there and you hit her with a whole ass car. Like, are you kidding me? For a guy named Chad, he is more of a. mm. Ego says Albert is weird seeing Noah and seeing a kiss because it's funny, yeah, and it's funny that you say that, right? Eagles, I mean, right, Ed, because Ed, you have said that, Jonathan has said that, Dolomitics, I think, have said that. A couple people have said that. I guess I'm the only person that just looks at it like, okay, they're just two actors kissing, you know? They're just they're just two actors kissing. But you know, I can see where you're coming from. Noah was acting kind of annoying today because your dad is out there sitting there playing detective, trying to find out what's going on with you, and you out there sitting there smashing this man's wife. Like that ass serious. You're out there smashing this man's wife. Yo, Vincent is a. Let me tell you something, Eagle. We're watching classic scenes of All My Children. I fucking love David Hayward. And the actor is amazing. The actor is literally amazing. Gorgeous Queen Janet. It's been too long. It has been too long. Jonathan, I was just talking about you. And also giving you your props for Sunday stream. Okay, where's my actual okay, let me have one more of this and then I'm actually yes, Eagle. We started watching some classic David Hayward. See, what's good, Lisa? In the member stream, and I'm like, here's the thing, every time his character comes on, he just there's a certain presence that he just commands. Even when I'm showing other people, whenever he comes on, he just takes over. Like he just literally takes over. It's pretty fucking incredible. Um, and it just really just makes it stick. Like, damn, All My Children was a really good show. As says Chad always have Gwen bring up Jennifer's hitting Gwen with a car and being high, and that her grudge against Kat hurting his relationship with his son. They didn't help. They did not help. Eagle says, I met him at a pizza joint in Staten Island when I was a preteen. He was such a nice guy. He brung me, oh, nice. That's what's up. He's a G. Did you like the, oh, no, I never actually watched it. I never actually watched it, Allison. I'm, um, I'm just getting into it now because of the streams, because of the live streams. Johnson says, now I want you to give your 2 cents on Jennifer wanting to take Chad's kids away. Don't hold back. I'm gonna be honest, here's my whole thing. She's not wrong on some level. I'm gonna be honest. She listen, as much as and I said this before, as much as I don't like Jennifer and the fact that she's been acting like a Karen for quite a while and being a hypocrite, Thomas flipped out because Chad lied to her about the whole Cat Green situation. And because of that, it made that kid spiral so much out of control that he almost got himself killed because of his lies. Yes, it's a small town and that's gonna wind up happening, but like that was on Chad. 1 second, 1 second, Ad. Are you like here's the thing though, Jonathan. It's weird because like when she first came at him, it was Smith saying this is your fault. I was like, I had so many curse words in my head when I was watching in the morning. I was like, I'm gonna need another round of caffeine. But then after I sat there because you know how I do, Jonathan. I always sit there and try to look at it from different perspectives. From her perspective, she's being a protective grandmother that almost saw her grandson die because he spiraled out of control and almost got hit by a car because of Chaz's lies. So I can't knock her for that. I can knock her for how she's been coming at Cat and acting like Cat had a choice and saying stupidness like, "Oh well, she could have called the cops." Like, the fuck are you talking about? And yeah, it's funny. Ed said something that was really interesting. Ed was like, Jennifer's hatred towards Cat did not help Thomas. It fueled it. It fueled it, and it did. That was actually a great observation, by the way. What do you think about Eva and Kat confrontation about Eva calling their father dad? Kat was being spiteful. Kat was being a brat. She was being a brat, and it was pretty immature. On some level, I understand she feels like Eva is not there taking stuff. That is her dad, her job, her man. I get that part. I didn't like the fact that Eva just walked up in Cat's place though. Like, oh, the door is open. So what? Do you normally just walk in everyone's house that doors are open? Like, what are you doing? You get shot or worse. Um, so he spiked a punch bowl with supersized vinegar and bunch of people hooked. Whoa. It's worse for Sonny to kill AJ than it was for Michael to get custody of Avery, right? Okay, let me read your question. I've been watching old Ryan says I've been watching older episodes of GH. I want to make sure I'm not crazy. It's worse for Sonny to kill AJ than it was for Michael to get custody of Avery. Well, yeah, it was worse for Sonny to kill AJ. Yeah, absolutely. Johnson says Days had another missed opportunity. They could have used Sammy's return to bring Sydney back. They could have. And also, she's marrying what's his name? Dante Vitale, who was Charlie Dale's father. No, no, but I agree with you. I agree with you, Ryan. Um and like I said, cousin. Wait. Wait, that's Ava's cousin? Oh, I thought that was his oh wow, okay. Johnson says Dante isn't Charlie's father, he's okay. Alright. 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 Ed says Kane was a wasted character because Victor wins again and it's time for Victor and Victoria and Adam to run the company. I agree with that. Jimmy is Charlie's father. Oh, okay. Wow, that's good stuff. Um, hmm, it's almost time. I'm gonna wait till 9, and then I may play. I may sit there and play it again. I may play it again. Um, I don't think I'll probably switch it now. Yeah, I remember. I briefly remember that, Ryan. I wasn't. I think I took a break and I came back, and I remember her doing that. Um, Okay, I think it's time. So I want to drink also, and I totally forgot about that. For the love of God, Victoria, start calling your. I think it's kind of cute. I think it's kind of facts, facts. Add facts. That's right, Ryan. I just turned to my laptop and it has a little bit better sound because I'm not using my earplugs on my phone. So, but like I said, I stand by what I said. So it's going to be a brief interruption or brief whatever, and then I will be right back. Let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if the audio is good. Oh, okay, that's good, Eagle. Oh, fucking god. I think it's good. Yes, and that's okay. I get good. We still don't know who caused the explosion at Sunny's. Facts. Yes. Yes. We still don't. All right. Well, Ryan, don't sit there and say I never did anything nice for you. We'll call this early Christmas present. Let me just read. Eagle said, Ed says, so Matt Clark as a so much. Albert. So Matt Clark has a cop in his pocket, aka Griffin from GH, and it was good seeing him. Yes. And Queen Janet says, I'm liking Deacon and Taylor. Know who's not liking Deacon and Taylor? Sheila. She did sit there and say that he's going to kill her. Johnson says Sammy being engaged to Dante Vitale gives me an idea for a Sydney return story. So yes, Ryan, we'll call this early Christmas present. Now it's not exactly what you want, but I feel like it's as close as we're gonna get for right now. Let me just.
This is not your fight, JR.
Kendall is my friend.
You are not my enemy, so why don't you just walk away and let this go?
Or you could take on women, but you don't have the guts to stand up to me.
It's not worth it, JR.
You messed with Greenlee and Kendall's head. Pine Valley doesn't need another liar.
Put that down, JR. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna kill me? You'll regret it the rest of your
You
life.
trashed Greenlee's life. Do you regret that?
More than you will ever know, JR, but that is between me and Greenlee.
And Kendall.
Kendall has got nothing to do with any of this.
Yes, we did, Sean, but I want to sit there and at least show that for the chat. Specifically, Ryan. But yeah, just give me 1 second. I'll add you on. I'm like, listen, I know it's not Drew. Yes, I'm like, I know it. I'm like, I know it's not Drew, but it's as close as they're going to get for a while. But, retribution. So, yeah, that's correct. Listen, watching some of these old school clips um, for All My Children, I realized how much I missed out. That's a really good question. Ed says Phyllis really wanted to act surprised when Victor double crosses her and went after Kane's company. Yo, Phyllis is. Okay, Jonathan, I sent it to you when you're ready. Me too, Allison. Me too. I'm gonna have to read up on that. I'm gonna have to read up on that. Um, that was just a scene from like my last member stream. That was a scene from my last member stream. But like I said, it was diabolical, very diabolical. Ryan did lead them both on for a while. As says Audrey and Holden backstory was interesting, and I want to know what else they are. Yeah, facts. Yes. Yeah, I want to know about that too. I want to know about that as well. Rick Forrester versus Drew King. Yes. Like I said, All My Children was that show back then. It really was. Sean says I got to go to sleep. Another early day tomorrow. Yes, I'll be here tomorrow. Have a good night, Sean. Mm, I have a different opinion on that, but I'll leave that alone. Well, I really won't, but I don't need to go into it though. Newman was wrong, but Michael would have been wrong hitting her. She's still a woman, even if she's wild. See this? Mm. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm just gonna leave it alone. Okay, I'm gonna say this shit, and then I'm just gonna leave it alone. 1 second, Ed. See this whole a man hitting a woman thing. Like this whole a man is wrong to sit there and hit a woman. It's hard for that shit to sit there and fly with me because women are the same people that want to sit there and have equal rights. So you want equal rights, but you also want special treatment. You want to explain how that works to me? Like seriously, like how does that work? It's wrong for a man to sit there and hit a woman, but a woman wants the same opportunities as a man. Like, I don't know about you, but the math ain't math. So I mean, Ryan's not there calling this woman an animal. Like, okay, that's whatever, but um as says Claire needs to be honest with Holden and Kyle because she's not looking to be attached because she's figuring herself out. Yeah. Um she needs to make that shit clear. Kyle Kyle needs to stop using his damn son to sit there and constantly lure. Yeah, exactly, Allison. Nobody should be putting their hands on anyone. I'm just I'm making a point about the whole facts. Facts. I remember part of that. I remember part of that part of that episode also. What would you call a person who calls someone selfish for not making their sick wife get an abortion? An asshole. Like, yeah, and she did. And listen, that I, I think that was the episode um that comedian got canceled because he was on a date with a woman and she didn't know how to sit there and speak up for herself. And instead of being a grown ass adult and being like, hey, listen, this ain't working out for me or whatever, or maybe that was a different one, but I do remember that part though. I think that was actually a different episode. Yeah, she got heat for saying that. Yeah. Oh, the view. Swear. I wish I was a YouTuber back then, so that they're making videos on that. Like, Anyway, um, okay. But yes, so Rocco got in trouble. Well, Rocco, listen, Rocco was kind of a G, but like all three of those kids were just stupid for something they're trying to break in. But like, where's the animals? Here's the thing: did Emma actually catch Dalton the first time with animals and like illegally testing them, or did she assume? Did she assume that Dalton was testing animals? Because yeah, it was stupid for them. You mean most women on GH are kind of, as said Emma assumed. So like it just makes me wonder. It's like you got all those kids worked up and be like, and don't get me wrong, listen, I'm not a fan of animal testing either. But like you don't even actually have proof. And now you got these goddamn kids involved. And I'm like, what are you doing? I will say this much though. She never had proof. I will say this much though. The teens or whatever on the teens are much better on General Hospital than the teens on Days of Our Lives. Like Charlotte, Rocco, and Danny are much better characters than Holly, Tate, and Sophia, and Aaron Green. Um, they're just oh, there you go.
Hey, how's it going?
What's good, Jonathan? Again, thank you for Sunday. You're a G, and I appreciate you.
Oh, absolutely. I knew Eddie Ford would be an interesting character to cover.
Yes, and you did an amazing job as far as um listing them in a certain order. I wish I would have followed that with the whole Vincent Clark thing. So,
Yeah. Well, I'll try to make sure I do that with whatever next character I come up with.
all right, good. So, what's your theory or thing about Sydney?
All right. Well, so I've been thinking of how they could possibly bring her back to the show, and we wouldn't want it to be like a generic story where she just comes in all of a sudden and I don't know like starts getting in on it with I don't know friends or relatives or stuff like that. Like, I mean, if we want to bring someone back, you got to do it in style. And I think Sammy marrying Dante Vitale could open the door to that. So here's what I was thinking. So what if all of a sudden Sammy comes back to town and she shows up at EJ's house and she's in panic mode because she informs EJ that Sydney has been kidnapped and she doesn't know who, but they suspect that the Vitale family has something to do with it because giving her marriage or upcoming marriage to Dante Vitale. So I can see them Sydney is like being held up for ransom, and then they contact EJ, letting them know that Sydney's that we have your daughter. You have to call off this amount of money to get her back, and and then soon we start seeing the scenes with Sydney make her debut. And as I said before, I do still think it's a good idea that they should have Avery Pohl, aka Esme from GH, play Sydney.
Yeah,
And yeah, and so we could get her like make her first scene where she's all tied up and blindfolded, and then some of the scenes during the hostage situation she's in. You can see her making some kind of snarky comments to her kidnapper or whatnot. There could even be a scene where she asked the person who's like watching her to scratch her nose because it's itchy, so he puts his finger around her face, and then she bites his finger. Then he's all stunned. That now that's not that kind of move would tell you that she's definitely EJ and Sammy's daughter.
Yes, yes, that feisty, fiery spirit. That's like, she's not just gonna sit there and take anything lying down.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah. So I think so we basically see a couple of scenes like that. Like she does that, and then she makes her whatever like comments like do you know who my father is? You're gonna be you're gonna be a dead man if once he's through with you, and stuff like that. Because basically her saying that she's EJ and Sammy's daughter, and that kind of attitude. And then eventually I think well they bring in Rafe and some other people and from the FBI to save her. And then there's all these fight scenes going on with the captors, and they eventually save her and bring her back to Salem.
okay.
And so I think that could possibly be a good way to introduce her back to the fold, introduce the of course the adult version of Sydney.
Yes, and I do like the fact that it will be played by what's her name,
Avery Pohl.
Avery Paul,
Yeah,
because I've seen, she does like a lot of Lifetime movies where she kind of plays like the crazy bad chick,
yeah,
somebody with fire and spirit and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it'll be an adjustment because we've seen her on General Hospital, so it's going to take a hot minute, but
yeah, exactly. So you just got to let it really sink in um to see her, just imagine her as EJ and Sammy's daughter, you know. Especially like if we're not going to get any more of Sammy than like what we're getting now, then how about bring Sydney in and get and have her given that same energy?
yes, I like it. I
Yeah,
like it. It's good.
yeah,
Better
exactly.
than my recast. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Keith
yes,
energy in there, and what else that did piss off the fans. Okay. All right.
exactly,
I can dig it.
exactly. Yeah, and you can probably also see her going in at it with Holly, just like Sammy and Nicole used to go at it.
Yes. At some point, I do want to sit there and just, tell you now, I want to do a night of Steve Johnston because, I always sit there and think that character's cool.
Yeah,
So I'll come across
you know what?
if you come across any clips, let me know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've actually tried looking for older clips of Steve, but it's so much harder to find these days. Days clips. Ever since the transition to Peacocks, it's been harder to find older clips of Days of Our Lives. As far as Steve Johnson goes, I haven't really found much. I mean, I'll keep trying.
Yeah, if you come across anything.
Yeah, because if not on YouTube, like maybe there could be other websites that may have it if possible. But yeah, as far as YouTube goes, it's really harder to find older clips.
I
Of
know.
Steve, the most I can find is clips of Steve and Kayla, like mostly the romantic stuff. Like I can't really found any like older clips like well, at least not that far back in, like from the 80s of like the really cool acting stuff. Like the only like action related stuff I found of Steve is like the more recent ones, like with him and Orpheus back in 2017, I believe.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you remember how that went. Now, Ed said Albert and Johnson, that would be cool because she can be the one to set Chanel straight about her father.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That
Yeah.
that that and that would create tension between her and Johnny. But yeah, I can definitely see that, and that would definitely be interesting.
Yes, it would. Have a good night, Ryan. Thank you for joining me. I'll sit there and see you tomorrow if you come through.
Yeah. Good night, Ryan. Yeah, yeah, I like that idea. You know, I can totally see that.
Yes, Days of Our Lives fans, you should, I mean, Days of Our Lives writers, you should definitely sit there and take John, aka Jonathan, um, idea.
Yes.
And he'll only sit there and charge you a small percentage, whatever that is.
Yeah. I'm not. Well, I'm not greedy. I just want to see. As long as the story plays out well, then that'll be good enough for me. Just execute it.
Yes, that's very important. That's very important. All right,
Yeah.
that's a good theory, Jonathan. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would. I think that would play out well, and I think. I think Sydney would be an interesting addition to the show. I mean, she could cause trouble. I mean, not in like not necessarily an annoying way, but in a way that just makes you want to keep coming for more because because if it could be she could be one of those characters like once you see this person, there's gonna be trouble.
Yes, yes. A good kind of trouble is something that keeps you awake and but not like, oh, she's a headache and I have to sit down and watch her again. It's like, yeah, I see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they should definitely do that, and it has been long overdue. Like because said before that she and Parker who's Holly's older brother, they should have been the ones who aged up first and 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 been in high school and all that. But they instead did it with Tate and Holly, and like I said, they aged them fast and they're younger. They were the younger ones. Meanwhile, we haven't seen Sydney or Parker as children, and they haven't yet to appear as adults.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have a good night, Allison.
yeah.
Now, Ed has a question for you.
Okay. So what do I think about the Theo and Abe tension? Well, I think it's pretty interesting. Like, I think I'm interested in seeing how it'll actually play out in the end. Like, whether like Theo actually does get screwed over by the by working from Demira in the end. It is pretty interesting to see Theo take up the helm at Demira Enterprises, but I don't know how long that's gonna last, or if it'll last long. Like I think it will. He'll probably stay in it for probably at least up to a year, I would say maybe. But or half a year, something like that. But I think eventually they may get to a point where he decides none of this is worth it, and if they if something happens, if they do something that he doesn't that he's not going to ride with. So I think that's the only way he'll probably end up stepping down. But it brings me to another thing that got brought up today, and that Tony is missing.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's like Tony was missing, and then he was found, and then he was missing again. So I'm like,
Maybe maybe Andre could be alive, and I think that might be who kidnapped Christian out of jail, and who we see take Christian to the Demeric crypt.
yeah, because you guys sit there and think it takes a lot of money and resources to sit there and take somebody out of prison like that. Like, it's not just Joe Schmo, it's somebody with a grudge. Like, it needs to be somebody with a certain level of money and influence to sit there and do that. So,
And when you think about it, maybe it wasn't Tony at all that recruited Theo to to get uh, Demera back, to help him get Demera back and to make him CEO of Demera. Maybe it's been Andre all along because you know he would, because Andre would have more to gain from it than Tony. Like Tony doesn't really want much to do with Demera these days, but Andre would. And I think maybe it has been Andre masquerading as Tony again, and Tony's actually kidnapped somewhere. So maybe, and that could possibly be what leads to Theo stepping down, possibly.
yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. Today was a bust, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in length.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, um, so what? So how do you feel about on GH Michael and Jacinda?
I'm cool with them. Um, what was the other chick named Allison, right? Oh, I got another question for you.
Okay. Let me see. What do you think about Sarah wanting to keep Victoria away from Xander and possibly getting with Brady? Well, from what I've seen over the years, usually Sarah and Xander splitting up usually doesn't last. It's like back and forth at this point. You know, they split up, they get back together, they split up again, and it seems like forever, but eventually they get back together, and it seems to be always like that. And I feel like it's just gonna play out like that. I mean, maybe I could be wrong, but who else is Xander going to be with? I mean, he already shot down Gwen, and
Yeah, and Gwen isn't with anyone, so I mean maybe they'll put her back with. I don't know. I just the thing is I haven't really. Okay, thank you, Allison. As Abby. I haven't been watching the show as long as other people, but I can tell you right now that I'm just like, oh my god, are they going to get back together? And just like they do, and then it's like it doesn't really matter. Like
well, I
Xander's
can
going to be Xander, and Sarah's going to be Sarah. Like, what are we doing?
Well, I can say I honestly don't care at this point.
I know.
Yeah,
Don't bother. And it's. I mean, listen. I don't try to shit on other people's opinions because some people they like them together.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
get why, but
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, if I mean, if anybody likes them together, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not like dead set against it. I'm just like don't really care. That's just how I feel.
it's just that
But
you look at it and it's like they're. I know that the saying opposites attract, but like when your interest and your what do you call that? What do you call that? Your your morality or your what is it called? Morality or like how you view things like things aren't
yeah,
okay, but like Xander does things. It's like, all right, bro, you're doing too much. And
yeah,
Sarah's always like, you're doing too much. Like when it's that far apart, that that's not going to work out. Like that's never going to work out.
yeah, yeah,
Morality, I think it's called morality.
yeah. I think so too. And I think as far as Gwen goes, maybe she and AJ might become a thing. I mean, they're already
Moral,
working closely together. I mean, they both had Dimitri. They both made Dimitri disappear.
yeah, yeah, it's morality. Yes, when your morality is that far apart, yeah, that's not going to work out. Like that's just not. And as far as Jacinda, I'm okay with Jacinda. I am. I she's like Pretty Woman 2.0 when
Yeah,
you really think about it. So that's how I look at it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm fine. I'm fine with them because clearly Michael and Willow have set sail. They're
Oh
too
yeah,
far
that's
gone. They're too far
that's
gone. There's no
yes, they
coming
are.
back.
And again, I said to smart viewers like listen, when Michael and Willow were together, people was like, oh my god, they're so boring. Willow's so boring.
Yeah,
Now that Willow is not there being bad and doing some very questionable things, oh my god, I can't stand it. It's like you just can't make anyone
I know.
happy. You
It's kind
just
of
can't.
it's kind of a lose situation. I mean, I was personally fine with Michael and Willow back in the day. I thought they were fine. I mean, I think the only thing that what was needed, like what could have happened to like make fans support them more, is if they got them into more like I guess adventure stories like lines like danger and stuff. Kind of like what they did with other couples back in the day, and um, and I think that's what makes fans root for couples, because when they're in situations like that, it makes you want to root for them more. And I see Ed's question. Do I think Chase is going to lose his badge? He could possibly. he could because he's basically compromising too much at this point.
And that's what Brooklyn. It's funny. That's what Brooklyn was saying. Like, you kind of running fast and loose with that badge, and not the typical. Oh, so what do you want us to think back with? You want to get back with Willow, whatever. Like, because that would be so typical. So I do like the fact that she's more concerned about his job and not her jealousy.
Yeah, honestly, I thought Brooklyn was going to be more outraged than that.
Hmm.
Yeah. But it just shows you, I guess, Brooklyn has a little bit more self control than a lot of us tend to give her credit for.
Yeah, and she's clearly not like insecure. Like as far as like, oh my God, he's gonna leave me for Willow. That's not the case. She just
Yeah,
worried about his job.
not like how Sheila is on B&B.
Yes, she. Yeah, we gonna talk about B&B because B&B. But like I said, listen, YNR has been good. Like they've been
Exactly.
been holding their own.
We got stars from GH. We got stars from Days on that show now. It's amazing.
Yes, and it's weird because like yeah, Ava is technically from Days, but she's also from GH though too. Like in reality, you have if
Yeah,
you really
exactly.
think about it, you have all of them from GH, or
So
whatever
it's
her
like
name is.
it's like a dual GH day star and some GH stars and some day stars. And when you think about it, well, or dual or in Roger Howard's case, a dual GH one like to live star.
Yes, and he was also part of the CBS family. Remember, he was on As the World Turns.
That's right, as Paul Ryan.
Yes, and of course, I wish we could sit there and watch that, but
I
you know how
know,
it is for CBS.
I know. I mean, those clips would have been so fun to watch.
Uh,
I mean, I hate that that we only have to try to search for NBC and ABC soaps. I mean, there's so many stuff from CBS that I wish we could show. I mean the James Stenbeck stuff and Rick Forrester night would have been good.
yeah, and my whole thing is like, I would be like, okay, fine. If you want to sit there and keep YNR and B&B, okay, fine. But I would have loved to sat there and watch the Guiding Light stuff because Annie Dutton.
Yeah. What did I think about the Ronnie storyline on GH? Well, I thought it brought in some interesting moments, and I definitely like seeing Erica Slezak back on screen again. It's been years since we saw her on One Life to Live, so I thought that was nice. So yeah, I also didn't like how Tracy treated her at first, but I'm glad at the end Tracy came to realize that she really is Monica's sister and that she gave her a sincere apology. So hopefully maybe one day we'll see her again at some point. 'Cause, yeah.
Allison says, "Is Dante going to arrest his son now?"
Oh wow, that would be that would be an awkward situation, and then you'll have to bring Lulu in and everything, and well,
Oh,
yeah.
but it's just going back to the whole Ronnie stuff. A lot of people was there saying that Tracy didn't do anything wrong. Now, do you think that Tracy didn't do anything wrong, John?
No, 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 I don't think that she absolutely did a lot wrong. She was berating Ronnie the moment she met her, and she didn't even know her back at that point. But yeah, she immediately jumped to case that she must be a fraud, and that you're not part of this family, and it took her such a long time to realize that she actually was. So yeah, I think so I think at first, like, Tracy literally jumped into conclusions. Like, the only thing Ronnie did wrong was she, like, because of that moment, she gave a reason uh, to say that she was right. But but like I said, at the end, they both apologized to, like Ronnie came clean, and then Tracy eventually apologized for her rudeness and for not accepting her, and now everything is better now. So So I think so I think it ended pretty well.
Yeah, I do too. I just, listen, I'm not. Well, I don't know if you watched, if you was there in the stream when we watched the whole Tracy, with Holden Edwards,
Yeah,
medicine.
yeah, I was there for that.
Okay,
Yeah,
you were there for that. So, like, listen, Tracy has been, doing some ish from like what, the 70s or 80s or whatever when that was around.
yeah, exactly.
Now, let me ask you one last question now. I
Okay.
made a comment about the veterans on like even on GH, like Sonny and Jason. Do you think that they kind of hit their prime and they should probably just be gone and have some new blood into the show?
I um I would say no, and let me explain why. Because look at Victor Newman on YNR. He's still going strong, and he's eight, and Eric Braden's like 80 years old. If Eric Braden can still pull off Victor Newman, then I think Sonny and Jason, they still have a long time to go. Long time to go. They they can still pull it off. And also look at the on days. Look how Steve Johnson is 70 plus years old, and he's also going strong. And and Drake, who played the late Drake Colgaston, who played John Black, he did it all the way until the very end. So yeah, they may be advancing in age, but that doesn't mean they still don't have any more strength left. Like if they feel that they could still hold it together, and they want to do it. If they don't feel like like they just want to like settle down, eh, eh, then I say like then why not, like just let them keep doing what they're doing, you know. Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
it doesn't bother me. Yes, yes, it would be good to, get a little bit of new people, but if the veterans, are still strong enough to keep going at it, then I don't see it why we have to, why they should be like forced out or and stuff.
okay. Well, I get what you're saying, and as says now, Drew and that was in a similar situation. I don't know.
Yeah, they were. They mentioned that online, like the when Ned got the heart attack on Monday, and Drew was practically just walked away. They said like it reminded them of how Tracy let Edward suffer through his heart attack.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, here's my thing. Here's my thing. When I'm sitting there saying like I'm not necessarily talking about like their age. What I mean by that is like, we saw the Four Brothers, right?
yeah,
We saw the Four Brothers. Now, granted, I didn't think that they were really great, but
yeah,
I appreciated One Like to Live for bringing in some fresh new characters, even if they didn't work. We've
yeah,
been watching a lot of these member streams and like classic Sun and classic Jason. Their peak was in the 90s, early 2000s.
yeah.
In my opinion, I feel like they were. So, like, I'm not sitting there saying they need to go away because they're old. I'm sitting there saying they need to go away because their stuff isn't as good as it was back in the day.
Yeah,
And so
I can see
that's what I'm
that.
sitting
From
there
that
talking
from that
about.
point, I can see that. I can agree with that at that point. I mean, I do think there could be, there is room for some newer things, like because I know, like how you felt about Spencer, but he was next generation Cassadine,
Yes. Yes.
Weber, and Corinthos. But like I said, he was also a Corinthos, so he very well could have taken over, been next in line to take over the business, because he is also Sonny's nephew, and he has all the resources and the attitude, and to face on danger. So and that could still happen with a good recast.
Yeah, listen, I'd be more than willing to sit there and have like sit there and see him back on there because he is a fresh face, he is a new character, and what I here's my whole thing. Like I even sat there and said like I wouldn't mind. Again, this isn't about age. I wouldn't mind to have an older actor or an older character come into the show because they would still be fresh air. You know what I'm saying? Like they would still be like a new character on the show. It's not so much about the age, it's just about having somebody new and different. Like and the stuff was great back in the '90s and especially like the '80s, with Robert and stuff. Now it's like you're kind of just there to collect a check and feel like, you
Yeah.
know?
So I guess it could be more like a Batman Beyond situation where like Bruce Wayne retires and Terry McGinnis takes up the mantle and becomes Batman, and Bruce still is still there to guide him through everything and teach him everything he knew, based on the villains he fought off back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to sit there and add before you go back into the crowd?
Um, Let me see. I did want to. Oh yeah, Beyond the. I want to mention something about Beyond the Gates.
Okay.
So I'm still going to stand by my theory and say that Kat and Eva were switched at birth. I still think that Eva is actually Nicole's daughter and Kat is actually Leslie's daughter. I mean, because remember, I remember yesterday's episode. Chelsea mentioned to Kat that she is that she's more like Leslie than Eva is.
Yes.
Yeah, and just imagine how that story could play out.
That
That
would
would
actually be good.
Yeah, that would be that would be totally good.
They can definitely use that. Ed had a question for you.
Okay, do you think it's time for Kai to leave GH? Um, I, I wouldn't say that because because like I said, because he just found out uh, who Drew, the kind of person Drew really is, and and because of the situation, because they're still doing the who shot Drew situation, like I think he still has a part to play in that story, for right now at least. So yeah, I don't think Kai should leave at least not yet. Now I have another question. Do you have a new theory on who could possibly have shot Drew?
I don't. And it's funny too because like I just I just don't. I think
Yeah,
just because like you watching all five episodes. I just finished seeing Gen V, which
yeah,
was actually pretty great by the way.
yeah,
You ever heard of this cartoon? You probably heard of it. It's called Invincible.
yeah. I know about Invincible. I haven't really actually seen it yet, but I know of it.
Yeah, I started watching. It's good so far. I like it. I mean, I'm only on like the second episode, but it's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I heard it's like I heard it's like super graphic.
Oh, it's definitely graphic. It's graphic. They take inspirations from like Marvel and DC,
Yeah,
but they kind of do their own unique thing, which I like. But
yeah,
it is definitely graphic. I
yeah,
will say this much though. It's kind of weird. Like you watch a lot of action stuff, like like a lot of like the Arrowverse stuff, whatever, where it's like live people.
yeah,
Then you watch like I don't know a cartoon or an animated cartoon of like the Justice League or whatever. And it's like your perception is a little bit different. You ever notice that's a little jarring? If that
yeah,
makes sense, you go from live action to cartoon, and it's like it
yeah,
takes you a few minutes to kind of like the physics of characters or people doing stuff that's like
yeah,
if you went back to watching live, it just would be kind of jarring, if
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. Exactly. Um, but speaking of the boys, I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to the season 5. You saw all of this season of Gen V, right?
Yeah, I did.
then you saw then you know then you already know what happens at the end of the season, the very end.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
Um,
yeah, yeah. So I think we're probably going to see the Gen V characters in the Boys season 5.
so let me ask you a question. Do you think that it's important for people that watch The Boys to watch Gen V, and why?
I they probably don't have to watch the show to watch the boys. I think it's more the other way around. I think you would have to watch the boys to understand what's going on in Gen V. Like but as far as Gen V goes, I mean, I would say if they do if we do see those characters up here in season 5 on the boys, and they do start mentioning some of the stuff that happened and Gen V during that season, then maybe you might want to take a watch. You know, watch at least this season, if not the first season, to know what's actually going on.
Yeah.
But I will say that if you're hesitant to watch Gen V because you think it's like super different, it's really not all that different. It has the same energy, the same flow, the same raunchiness. Pretty much it pretty much has everything, the kind of stuff you would see on the boys. And oh yeah, what I'm really excited about in boys season 5 is we're getting a supernatural reunion.
Yes, of course, of
Yeah,
course. They did a commercial, whatever, basically saying that The Boys is back.
yeah,
Um, but it's kind of well, it's interesting that you say that because it's like something asking somebody saying, "Well, do you need to watch the Vampire Diaries to understand the originals?" And their energy is a little bit different.
yeah,
So, like, Gen V and The Boys, like Gen V deals with like a lot of relationships and kind of like college humor. But
yeah,
the boys a little bit different. And
yeah,
that's the same
exactly.
thing with the originals and the Vampire Diaries. The Vampire Diaries is like high school drama and who likes to and whatever,
Yeah.
as opposed to the originals, which is about like I don't know supernatural
Yeah,
political
supernatural
something.
beings, basically like turf wars in New Orleans, with
Yes.
supernatural beings. You have like with the group of vampires, and there are some werewolves, I believe. And it focuses more on the Michelson family. Like,
Would you would you compare that to like saying, well, you shouldn't watch Dragon Ball Super until you watch Dragon Ball Z?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I mean, actually, when it comes to Dragon Ball Super, if you haven't watched Dragon Ball Z, you're not gonna understand a lot of the references that come up, or the character relations. And I guess, I mean, there's too much stuff you wouldn't really understand about certain storylines and characters if you haven't watched Dragon Ball Z. If you go into Super without watching Dragon Ball Z, like I mean, for me, I watched all of Super. It was okay, but I didn't find it as quite as enjoyable as Dragon Ball as Dragon Ball Z, or GT, which they're seemingly like trying to erase, because a lot of the stuff that happens in Super contradicts the stuff that happens in Dragon Ball GT.
Now, Ed says you would have to watch the Vampire Diaries to understand the originals because their history and backstory starts there. Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true. Here's the thing. Like the reason why I said there and said because like and it's weird, and I don't know how we got to this point, but in this conversation, but like I guess I would feel like it's more of like the power scale, right? Like
yeah,
you can appreciate like the fights and the power scaling in originals if you watch um Vampire Diaries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because these are strong characters that are going up against people that are even stronger than them in a sense. So it's like it would. I feel like you may not actually have to watch it, but I think you can appreciate the originals more if you watch the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, what I can a show that you can watch without I can say you could watch without watching its parent show, and I don't know if a lot of people watches it. NCIS Los Angeles. You can watch that without having to watch the original NCIS. I mean, they just because those characters just show up for literally just are introduced in like 2 episodes of the original show, and then they move on to their own show. And and yeah, you don't have to you don't have to watch you wouldn't have to watch the original NCIS to watch something like NCIS Los Angeles because I went into NCIS Los Angeles without really watching the original NCIS because I couldn't really get into the original show, but I got into NCIS Los Angeles because it for me it was a lot more action packed.
Yeah, yeah, and I do like Chris O'Donnell. So yeah, and of course Hello Cool J. So yeah, I get it, but
Yeah,
I guess that's I guess that's a little. Well, yeah, I mean that's like Smith is saying. Yeah, I could watch NCIS without Smith there watching. Uh, Before I watched that, then watch Jack because
yeah. Oh yeah,
Jack,
exactly.
because NCIS came from.
Yeah, that is true. I keep forgetting that. Like every NCISU show you see now, all of them are originally like they're like basically offsprings of GAG, like
Yeah,
because that's where the whole franchise came from. It came from a whole nother show. And interesting enough, GAG used to be on NBC.
it ain't went to CBS.
Yeah,
And you know what else? That was they switched. Um, what was it called? Family Matters. Family Matters went from ABC to
CBS,
CBS,
but
which
only for its final season. Yeah.
yeah, I know, but it was still just like
Yeah, it was weird.
jarring.
It was actually the and believe and Step by Step also moved to CBS the same time Family
Yes,
Matters did. And you know what happened there? Um, they had CBS when they got Family Matters and Step by Step. They had a competing Friday night lineup called the CBS Block Party to compete with TGIF.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was some like some insidious plan that CBS had to like take over their shows and like kind of like I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Try to bring in that audience. And even though the block itself was a failure, it did do enough damage to her TGIF.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching a video about that and I was like, wow, that's some diabolical shit right there. Like, god
Exactly.
damn.
Like they didn't from what I understand, they didn't do it because they wanted to have their own Friday night lineup, but they basically did it to destroy TGIF in a way.
Yeah, like that's some. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, wait, Boston. Well, Boston Blue actually
Yeah,
doesn't it have who's that chick that used to be on GH? Her name was
Gia.
Gia Campbell. I
Yeah,
know she's on I know well, she's on Blue Bloods. I didn't know that until we did that night, and I was like, I wonder what the actress is doing
yeah. Boston
on
Blue
the
is
show.
yeah. Boston Blue is the sequel spin-off series to Blue Bloods.
If she's recurring, but
Yeah,
listen, I rock with Gia.
yeah,
Like Gia back then, like used to have some really interesting stories.
yeah,
So it's kind of a shame. And of course, they had two actresses that played Gia, which I didn't even know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love yeah, yeah. I love soap stars. They they go they seem to have found other stuff these days, but yeah, that's pretty interesting. Do you think they should bring that character back to GH?
I think it'd be interesting to bring her back because, like, I don't know. It's just like it's weird with Trina because I feel like with Trina is like her character, her story was really only interesting because Spencer, and then you know
Yeah,
they're giving her stuff to do with Kai, and I can appreciate that.
yeah,
But I feel like the fans really don't. So it's like,
yeah. I think a lot of people just want Spencer back.
yeah, they're not getting it back. I mean,
They're not.
I
Yeah,
don't know what the dude is doing, but
they're not.
like,
Yeah, they're not giving. Yeah, they're not gonna get Nicolas Chavez back because he's doing movies and miniseries and other things.
oh,
So
she was only in the premiere. Okay.
yeah. So I mean, I think that would only happen if he wants a job back.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they should probably just recast Spencer at this point because
Yeah,
I feel like if they can't do it right, they probably should just not do it. It makes me think about Rebecca Shaw. Remember Rebecca Shaw?
I do yeah, I do yeah, I have looked up that character. She was the lookalike to Emily.
Yeah. And I mean, I think what wound up happening was this is when I feel like they stopped trying to bring back the character as a twin because
Yeah,
it just didn't work. Like they did it with Luis and Lorenzo.
yeah.
Who came first? Was it Luis or Lorenzo?
Luis came first, then Lorenzo.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they tried to do that with Rebecca and it was just like, nah, this is not
yeah.
this is not working.
And let me tell you something interesting about that too. Like so after Lorenzo was written off for GH, the actor went to One Life to Live to play Tomas Delgado. And when after One Life to Live ended, and then you had the One Life to Live characters appear on GH, they they started to do a story like so Sky Quartermain came back to Port Charles, and then they saw the Sun paper, the Sun paper. They saw a newspaper. It showed Blair and Tomas engaged, and Sky and Carly noticed that he looked just like Lorenzo because of course it was the same actor playing him, and then they both Carly and Sky and Todd went to Landview to Taya's house. She was with Blair, and then they explained to Blair that that she knows her as Tomas, but they know her as Lorenzo. And Todd was like all excited because that he said it proves that Tomas was a fraud. So basically they tried to make Tomas Lorenzo in a way, and basically that whole storyline was scrapped after ABC lost the rights to the One Life to Live characters, because they were doing the series on Hulu by the online network and Prospect Park. And I have to say I really hated that Prospect Park did that lawsuit against ABC because because that's the reason that the new versions of One Life to Live and All My Children got canceled, because they pursued that lawsuit. If they had just left it alone, then we probably would have still had the show. And the reason they did that is because the GH killed two One Life to Live characters, and because they decided uh, to make a new rule that no dead character would come back, which I was not a fan of that. It,
What? Wait, I'm sorry. They made a rule where what GH made a rule?
no, not GH. Prospect Park, the company that produced the online versions of All My Children and One Life to Live, they made a new rule that no characters that died will ever come back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of pursuing that lawsuit, they should have just canceled that rule. And
Yeah, I mean, here's my whole thing. I remember that episode when they killed off Cole and Hope.
yeah,
I think those are the characters. They killed off Cole and Hope.
yeah,
And
that's who it
see,
was.
in their eyes, it was like, listen, we gave you these characters as lone characters. We didn't give you these characters so you could sit there and just start, picking them off and killing them off or whatever. Like, I understood the anger, because like that's not why they did that, and they could have used those characters further down the line. So I understand the anger behind it, but I
Yeah,
also felt like they were kind of going OD. I think it was a statement that sat there and said that they were trying to purposely sabotage us, and it was like,
yeah, no, they weren't. That was ridiculous. I mean, it's only because they made that stupid rule of not bringing dead characters back. If you want to bring Cole and Hope back, just bring them back. Forget that rule. Just bring them back.
yeah,
One Life to Live has done that for years, and you could have done it. Because even if you're online now, or even if the format is somewhat different, you're still a soap opera in the end, and that's why people wanted to tune in because it was a soap opera. They didn't want all these, like extra things added to, like I don't know, somewhat modernize it or whatnot. I mean, I mean, you're trying. I mean, yes, you want new fans to come in, but you also have to maintain the fans the show already have. And if you're like drastically like eliminating them, then it's not going to work. So in my opinion, Prospect Park sabotaged themselves. And so I'm personally glad ABC ended up winning the lawsuit in the end, and now they can bring those characters back anytime they want.
yeah. I remember we did the stream on Sunday. We talked about Kayla,
Yeah,
and the thing is, like, I felt like that was when they brought them back to General Hospital, it seemed like it was a little kind of messy because it was like things just didn't make sense, right? Like Lucy
yeah,
being like, "Oh, you're Livy Locke or whatever." It was like, no, you met Sam before, like that would have made sense if she would have been like, "Oh, you're Livy Locke," and it's like, No, she's Sam." But for
yeah,
her to do that in like 2011 or whenever that was, it was like it didn't make sense. And then they just made Caleb a human at
yeah,
the end. I was like, what? What are we? I can appreciate them trying to find a way to wrap up poor Charles,
yeah.
but they did it in such a way where I was like, things just didn't really make sense.
But you do know
Uh,
that Caleb is actually alive, right? There was a clip where that took place in the morgue. There was an examiner examining Caleb's body, but then at the end it showed the examiner's body was was in the bed, and it showed Caleb walking away with his rent wing in a doctor's suit.
oh, now I gotta sit there and try to search for that shit. Okay.
Yeah, and oh yeah. Speaking of Kelly Monaco, Kelly Monaco recently appeared on this Tuesday. She resurfaced, and she was on Dancing with the Stars anniversary event.
Wow.
Yeah, she was on TV on Tuesday.
On Dancing with the Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
looks like she's doing okay. I mean,
that's good. I mean, listen, we don't. As said, Trina also had other things going for her with the original and with the new Trina. They needed to give her some standalone storylines. I agree with that. I
yeah,
agree with that.
yeah,
The thing is with Kelly Monaco is like I don't think we're ever gonna know what really went down. Because you know what they always sit there and say. There's three sides to a story. There's
yeah,
her side, there's the studio side, and somewhere, the truth is the truth is. Um, it sucked that after what was she on for like maybe 20 something years? It sucked that she got killed off,
yeah.
but
She was on for 21 years, I believe.
yeah, but like this is where I start to look at some of these shows and be like, they don't kill characters off like they used to. Maybe because I started watching Hollyoaks and they have no problem killing off characters that are main characters. But like you look at Ned's story. Do you think that they're gonna kill off Ned?
I don't think so. Not so soon after a kill after killing off Monica.
No. So like I feel like it's one of those things where it's like it just it's gonna come across as so predictable when they find a way to save Ned, and it's like I don't know. Somebody, I think it was Ryan that was with this saying that he heard a rumor that they're gonna kill off Danny or whatever. And granted, I'm not a fan of killing off kids, but like
Yeah,
I think it'd be interesting if they actually did. You know.
yeah, yeah. It would make it would definitely make an interesting story.
Now, okay, before we do go,
Uh huh.
hold on. It says GH used to with serial killer storylines to take out characters. You need to start doing that again. All right. So you talk about the Jennifer taking Chad's kids away,
Yeah.
and so what are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was I thought it was a little bit ridiculous. I mean, here's the thing. Yes, Chad kept it a secret at first about him seeing Kat, but he eventually broke things off with her at the end. But it's because he saw her like talking to Kat for a moment. I mean, he didn't lie about anything. Like he didn't go back on his word. Like he stayed broken up with him, but he just happened to run into him at town square, and it's pretty much a small town, so it's bound to happen. So I think it was kind of ridiculous to say that Chad lied and he's the reason this happened. But no, it didn't help but it doesn't help the fact that Jennifer and Julie they keep expressing how much they hate Kat and they'll never forgive Kat and Rachel for spewing all that stuff on in his head. It's not Chad's fault. He's not a like he hasn't been negligent or anything. And here's the thing. Rachel's not even upset with him. I mean, sorry, not Rachel. I mean, Charlotte. Charlotte's not upset with him for anyone, but she wants to take her away, hey, too, because in her because apparently not now because he dares to make contact any kind of contact with Cad. He's all of a sudden dangerous now. I mean yes, what Cat did, I can understand what was very traumatizing and maybe in a sense unforgivable, but she's really not a dangerous person. And you want to take his kids away? Is it because of he's interacting with Cat? No, it's like Chad said. It's because she's still grieving over Abigail, and that's what this really is about. She wants she's still grieving over Abigail, and she's taking the kids because it's the closest thing she has to Abigail. That is what this is really about, and that is why she still has so much anger towards Cat. It's because Abigail. She's still waiting for her. If anything, Jennifer needs some kind of therapy. You know, really go into how she's really feeling and the hurt she still holds. But Chad is not being like negligent. He hasn't done anything wrong. It was just a simple running, and it only happened for a minute. He's not sneaking around with Cat. So yeah, I think this is all of this is an overreaction, and it's only because because she's still grieving Abigail. So I do not support her wanting to take Chad's kids away from her because he already lost his wife, and I think if anything, Chad forgave Kat because he doesn't want like the anger to continue to build up, and he didn't want that and I'm sure he didn't want that for a kid. So that's why he like he forgave her, and but Jennifer, who still holds anger towards Kat. I mean, and because that anger is being passed down to Thomas, like she wants to be their primary caretaker, Thomas and Charlotte, but yet she's still holding the anger towards Kat. She's still grieving Abigail, and that if anything that wouldn't be good for them. So yeah, I don't know. I don't agree with what Jennifer wants to do. I think Chad is in. I mean, I think Chad. he hasn't done anything wrong, and he should do everything he can to fight this off, even if it means playing dirty. And I'm pretty sure if they really go to court with this, well, he'll have EJ defend him because he already went to EJ, and I think at this point he's definitely going to move back into the Demira mansion.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. It's funny too because when you was like you asked me, it was like, "Yo, was you sick or something like that?" You know how I always sit there and look at
I
it.
mean,
Don't get me wrong.
I was expecting you to be even more as pissed off, maybe even more pissed off than I was.
And that's the thing. Like I was like initially when she was like, "This is all your fault," I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" Because here's my whole thing. Even if she sat there and she felt like that, it wasn't the time or the place to sit there and do that. But like I had to sit there, and don't get me wrong, I'm not everything that you was saying is correct. The woman needs therapy, and I do agree with Chad as far as like those kids are closest things to Abigail. And
Yeah,
it's a small town, and we looked at it, from a fan's perspective, we looked at it. Those were just two people that just bumped into each other, and he happened to sit there and comfort her during some bad news, and we can all get that. I guess my whole thing is like I said with Jennifer, right? The lie, he he didn't tell Thomas about what what Cat did. And we could sit there and say, yeah, there was a certain reason for it of why and why he didn't do it. But the point is, he didn't do it and he got upset. So he broke it off. But in his eyes, he's like, yo, listen, you lied to me. You lied to me once. Then you sat there and said that you broke out with her and you didn't do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I did not give two flying shits that he ran into a car and he got hit. I felt like that was karma. But from Jennifer's perspective, she's looking at it like the kid spiraled out of control because of your relationship with Kat, and he almost got killed. So she went into protective mode and it's like, I'm gonna take those kids out that house so this way that doesn't happen again. I,
but
I
here's the
don't.
thing, like all it's going to do is create more friction between Chad and Thomas, and unnecessarily with Charlotte,
Yes,
because Charlotte doesn't hold any anger towards Chad, but she's going to separate from her from her father, and anyway, and like she already doesn't have her mother, and now she could potentially lose her father because of how Jennifer feels about Kat and her anger and her grief. I mean, that's not going to be good for either of them. That's not going to be good for the kids or Chad. What needs to happen is Chad and Thomas, like they need to find a way to work this out. They need to really have a sit down and talk. And maybe Thomas should go to therapy. That could really help. Maybe he needs to see Marlena or somebody. That's what really needs to happen. Not by separating the kids.
Jonathan.
Yeah,
Okay, there you go.
yeah. That's what needs to happen.
Okay, and the thing is like you're not even wrong because like I can totally see that, but you do understand where in this weird way, you do understand where I'm coming from as far as where Jennifer's coming from, right?
Yeah, yeah. I get that.
I mean, listen, I, I don't like like I said, I don't like the way that Jennifer has been coming at Kat. Um, and I felt like she's been being really unfair, and that's more of an emotional. It's more of an emotional reaction than something where it's like if she thought about it, she might be like, "I, I'm definitely in out of pocket." But like, as annoyed as I was at like 6:20 in the morning, I did, after I calmed down, I was like, okay, I can see, like, she's not coming from a place of malice. She's not sitting there doing this, like, oh, I hate you, Chad, and I think you're a bad father, so I'm going to take your kids. Like, there's a reason why she is doing what she's doing. Like, she's not doing it because she's like Nina or just a bad person or whatever. Like, she's doing this out of a sense of protection. She
Yeah,
might be going about it in a wrong way, And I
Yeah,
think we can all kind of agree with it on some level, but she's not coming at it like she's just an evil person.
yeah, I get that. I mean, I get her intention. I just don't think she's going about. I just don't think she's going about it the right way, and I think she needs to slow her roll. I think what needs to happen is they just need to sit down and talk. I mean I think if anything, it would be better for the three of them to like sit down and talk. And like I said, probably go to therapy, probably see Marlena, and then really get it out there. I mean, that's really what should happen instead of this, because like this decision to take the kids away like that it's too rash, it's too extreme. So yeah, I don't agree with that. So maybe it could so maybe it could go to court. I mean, I'm hoping that it doesn't, but yeah, at this point it does look like Chad will be moving back into the mansion.
Yeah, I did like the fact that you brought in Charlotte because in all reality, we've been sitting here talking about Thomas. A lot of the stuff has been about Thomas. We've only really seen Thomas, and yeah, you're 100% right. It's like he does have another child, and we don't really see it too often, and
Yeah,
that does affect Charlotte, which is actually pretty interesting.
yeah,
I'm glad. I'm seriously glad that you bring that up because I was like, the only time that we actually talk about Charlotte in these streams is what's her last name, by the way?
Demira.
No, no. Okay, no. What's the other Charlotte's last name?
Sure. Oh, you're talking about GH Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte.
Charlotte Cassadine.
Okay, it's Castle. Yeah, that's the only time. Like, that's the only Charlotte that we generally sit there and talk about. So it's actually really interesting that we don't sit there and talk more about Charlotte because we don't see Charlotte. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. Okay, I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now, before I actually end the stream,
Uh-huh.
any last thoughts that you want to sit there and say?
Well, uh, what did you think of some of the flashback stuff we saw in Days yesterday with the Hortons and with the young Julie and
You know, I here's the thing. In the beginning when I used to sit there and watch soap operas or whatever, I didn't really care for the flashbacks. I appreciate it more now.
yeah,
Um, I can appreciate how they used to do soap operas and like the technology back then, and more importantly, like also like young Julie was actually pretty fine. But
yeah.
most importantly, like that was interesting that well, first of all, she didn't realize that she fell in love with her what was her brother.
No, oh no, it was Hope's father.
No. What was the okay? When Julie was there, she was there with somebody else. Who was the other character's name?
When Julie was there,
No. When Tate and Holly interviewed Julie, who was the other person?
the other person, that was uh I think it was a Marie Horton.
Marie. Okay, now Marie fell in love with somebody in her family, and she didn't know that.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about, right? Remember when she said that? Oh, well, at the time I didn't know, because he didn't know who he was. I guess he lost his memories.
oh,
Um,
oh yeah. I think it was well, I think it was Tommy Jr.
yeah, I think that was like her brother or whatever. But like, okay, so what I didn't understand was she said one of the characters basically said that they were a product of sexual assault.
Uh,
Um, now I didn't know.
what was it, Jeremy?
No. This was back. He also had a new face. Okay. No,
Okay.
no, no. He said the story involves somebody because somebody sexually assaulted somebody else, and that's how they got born. It was what Jeremy called like a very dark history, whatever. Like,
Oh, okay.
or you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so. yeah, yes,
Jeremy's father, yeah, Jeremy's father was Smith there saying that somebody sexually assaulted somebody else, and that's how back then they found out that, oh, that's not my son because that's somebody else's son. I don't know. The family tree is just so goddamn convoluted that like I
yeah,
feel like you need like a Wikipedia page to understand.
yeah. I also want to mention that one particular person we saw in the flashbacks, Jennifer and um, Mike's mother, Laura Horton. That
Yes, Laura, yes.
that was played by Susan Flannery, who played Stephanie on BNB, Stephanie Forrester.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. That was a younger version of her. So she was on Days Before BNB even started.
I don't know. I like the flashbacks. Like even Jennifer's or the actress 40 something years on the show.
Yeah,
I enjoy, and here's the reason why I enjoyed the flashback because the way that Jack used to sit there and talk to Jennifer was really on some like I'm a man and you're a woman and I can sit there and talk to you a certain way because that's just how it was back then. Like he was kind of the product of the times, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
It was something to do with Mickey Horton finding out his son wasn't his son. Yes,
Yeah,
but I enjoyed that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like it kind of highlights. Yeah, it was a problem back then where like
yeah,
women were treated like secondhand citizens in a sense.
yeah,
Um, and again, I don't agree with that ideology, but it was interesting to sit there and see how that played out because it was like it was a certain level of arrogance. I was like, bro, like you wouldn't talk to a woman like that today that
yeah,
he did back then.
yeah. It just makes you glad that we're living in this decade rather than back then.
Yeah, it does, and yeah, it definitely does, and just
Yeah,
how wrong that behavior was.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, just in general, just to answer your question, yeah, no, I enjoyed the flashbacks.
yeah,
I think that's why I love Snippet. Even when we do our member streams and we watch like very like even early '90s or early 2000s, like All My Children and One Life to Live, they're very interesting in how the stories are told.
yeah,
Like All My Children was actually a good show.
yeah, yeah. It was really good.
Like JR was an asshole, but he was a very complex character.
Yeah,
Was you there on Saturday?
I wasn't there on Saturday, but
Okay, you wasn't there on Saturday. We talked about it, and you remember some of the stuff because I showed pictures. Okay,
yeah, exactly.
okay.
Yeah. But I know you weren't like entirely enthusiastic about the Gala storyline, but I suggest you do, but definitely do watch it because there could be some interesting things happen. Like we already know like with Kristen and getting kidnapped, like that's happening. That should be happening on Friday, I believe, or maybe even Thursday, possibly. But so that's like so we have tomorrow and Friday. So yeah, so there should be interesting stuff happening there.
Okay, and you know what? Listen, I think going back now, I'm sitting there thinking like JR was a product of Adam Chandler. Yeah, he was, but like the good thing was that he had Tad as a stepfather. Like when you have a father like Adam Chandler, you need somebody to like balance that out a little bit. But
Yeah,
I was sitting there thinking like a Jan Spears night actually wouldn't be that bad. Cause
yeah,
like it'll be old school Jan Spears. So like
yeah. I
if I
hope
could
I can.
find some clips of that, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, we could definitely do because here's the thing. I'm sitting there thinking about Jan Spears now. I'm
Yeah,
not thinking about Jan Spears how she was back then. So I think that would actually be pretty interesting. If you find some clips or whatever, we'll definitely do that.
yeah, yeah. We can definitely try to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of weird though. Like even when I search for stuff, like it's easy to find all my children clips. Easy to find. Um, won't like the love clips, but trying to find Days clips, like it's like a goddamn hard ass treasure hunt.
Yeah,
And I just mean in general with like Days of Our Lives clips.
exactly. And it's easy to find clips of BNB and as the world term. It's easy to find clips of the CBS subs. The problem is we can't use them.
Yeah, because CBS are just a bunch of stingy dicks, which is his thing. It's annoying because I feel like like creators or whatever will sit there and get people into watching some of their old stuff, right? We'll get people to sit there and watch like old school B and to get them to like we're advertising for them.
Yeah.
You would think that would be like, oh wow, that's actually a good thing, not the way that they're taking it.
What if you try putting up a disclaimer, a disclaimer, um, si- um, making it clear that like the CBS clips, like whatever
It's
CBS
fair
clips,
use or whatever.
yeah, they're owned by CBS, and the original creators, and no copyright infringement is intended. And maybe if you like put that up before showing a clip, or more, then maybe they would actually let you get away with it
I
with
can
showing.
I can look into that. I think there's something on StreamYard that I can sit there and try to use. So like I'll be down for it.
Yeah.
I'll check how to do that tonight before I go to bed.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, so I'll do that because I mean, trust me, you know me. I love to sit there and watch some Annie Dunn.
Yeah.
Like if you think that Nina Reeves is crazy,
No.
no,
Annie.
Annie Dutton.
Yeah, Annie was crazier, and then maybe we could get around to doing a James Stenbeck night.
Yes, and I would listen. I would love to sit and do some. Who is Cassie? Which played by Laura Ray? She was on Guiding Light, right?
Yeah, Guiding Light, along with Cynthia
Yeah,
Watros.
along with who?
Cynthia Watros.
Oh yeah, I would definitely love to sit there and do that. So
Yeah,
um yeah. So yeah, I'll look into that.
yeah,
You know, my other idea was doing something on Twitch.
yeah,
We could sit there and show like old school CBS stuff. I think that'd be pretty cool.
yeah,
I got to sit there and do that into a poll question and see how many people would actually be down for that because I would love to sit there and watch that on there.
yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Um, well, I think that should cover it for tonight.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
I
So,
will sit there and let you get the last word before I close out the stream.
all right. Yeah, just keep watching all the soaps. Keep supporting all the soaps, everyone. And I'm and and I guess sound off in the comments which show you're looking forward to most this week. So yeah, I think that's about it.
And like I said, thank you, Jonathan, for again, you know, not just collecting the clips, which is really cool, but you actually did it in the order where it made sense. So
Absolutely. And I
that
also
was
sent
awesome.
you a description of the character, the background, for you to
Yes,
look
and that definitely did help because at least I know what the hell I'm talking about. So
Yeah,
appreciate you.
absolutely. And we should do it again sometime.
Absolutely, yes, of course. So yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Everyone, sit there and give the flowers to Jonathan for an amazing. Also, just for coming on tonight. So
Yeah. And join us next time for another edition of Soap Chat with Albert Bostic.
yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll talk about some more soaps. And like Jonathan said, support these soaps because like we got 5 now. Maybe we could sit there and get 6 if we keep it up.
Yeah. Maybe we can get Eastwick Lane become a thing.
Yes. And don't give up too much of your ideas, even though they're actually pretty great. I
Yeah.
want I want anyone at least copyright your shit before you do that.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely do that.
All right, so yes, thank you, Allison. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Blackmon. Everyone else in the chat, Queen Janet, beautiful Queen Janet, and everyone else who I That's it. Then think about the time. You know who you are, and we will see you in the next stream. Laters.
Good night.